This boy's dad defeated the evil dragon and saved the world, but little did he know, the dragon is still alive and looking forward to its return. This time, the boy has to fight by himself. Long ago, the human world was connected to the magical land of Enchant Sphere. One dark night, a ferocious dragon appeared to destroy all of mankind. A brave hero named Cyril grabbed his weapons and defeated the dragon in one blow. The dragon's skin was captured while his soul escaped and hid somewhere in Enchant Sphere. The gates between the two worlds were sealed, and in the next few years, the humans forgot about dragons to lead a normal life. Cyril has also started a new life with his lovely wife and two sons, Bogdan and Nicky. Bogdan helps his dad in work while poor Nicky can hardly lift a bucket of water. Despite his low strength, Nicky dreams of becoming a dragon fighter like his dad. Unfortunately, no one believes him and makes fun of him, including his brother. Cyril notices his little son's interest in dragons, so he takes Nicky to a special place. After killing the dragon, Cyril brought his skin to Earth so the soul can never reach it. After exhibiting the dragon skin, Cyril also shows a piece of leather. He wants Nicky to develop interest in leather tanning and forget about his stupid passion for dragons. However, Nicky only asks questions about dragons and their fire breath. He wants to know every detail just in case he faces a dragon in real life. Cyril doesn't take him seriously and asks him to hurry for dinner. After everyone else leaves, Nicky starts staring at the dragon skin and pretends to be a dragon slayer. He grabs a giant scissors and points it at the dragon. Suddenly, he slips and causes a huge mess in the whole room. It also affects the dragon skin holder and makes it fall down on Nicky. The scissors in his hands cuts the skin and he gets trapped under it. Cyril hears the noise and comes to check on Nicky. He advises his son to get over this obsession with dragons as they are already extinct. Nicky should also stop calling Cyril a hero, as he was just a tanner who fought the dragon to save his family. Hearing this, Nicky gets sad because he's too weak to be a hero anyway. Later that day, a comet appears in the sky and worries the great sorcerer, Adler. He believes that an evil spirit is about to rise and it will destroy the whole world. Adler immediately writes a letter and asks his talking bat, Eddie, to deliver the letter to Cyril. Meanwhile, Cyril is peacefully having dinner with his family and shares his future plans. He wants Nicky to join his business, but Nicky clearly states that he has no interest in tanning. Suddenly, Eddie arrives with the letter which asks Cyril to visit Adler as soon as possible. Cyril gets up to prepare for the journey, but Nicky wants to accompany him too. Cyril immediately says no and advises his son to behave himself in the future. The next morning, Cyril sets out to meet Adler, but Nicky secretly follows him too. After reaching Adler's house, Nicky stands outside to eavesdrop on the conversation. Adler shifts Cyril's attention towards the comet and calls it a sign. A magical plant called the fire blossom fern will bloom in the Enchant Sphere. The fire flowers are very powerful and must be protected before they reach the wrong hands. In the worst case, the flower can be taken by the dragon. Though Cyril had killed the dragon, its spirit possessed a witch named Syringa. When the fire flower will bloom, the dragon will be separated from Syringa's body, and it will start looking for its own skin. If the dragon succeeds in getting the skin and the fire flower, it will become more powerful than ever. Nicky hears about the power of the fire flower, and he starts imagining using the flower to gain the strength of a real hero. He meets Eddie and asks him if there's a way to reach Enchant Sphere to get the fire flower, but Eddie clearly refuses to help. Nicky gets disappointed, but keeps asking questions about the dragon. Since Alder used magic to make Eddie talk, Eddie has been studying sorcery and magical creatures. According to his research, the only way to actually kill a dragon is burning it with its own flaming breath. Nicky starts planning in his mind and decides to get the fire flower, become powerful, and kill the dragon. After that, no one will call him a loser again. The clever boy starts annoying the bat and asks him to prove his magic power by opening the portal to the Enchant Sphere. The bat falls for the trick and opens the magic portal. Nicky gets scared and asks Eddie to close the portal, but Eddie hasn't learned that part yet. He keeps trying different spells, but none of them work. The portal keeps getting bigger and sucks in Eddie and Nicky. Alder and Cyril immediately arrive to close the portal, but it's already too late. Cyril falls unconscious and wakes up after an hour. He gets anxious and begs Alder to bring back his beloved son. Alder asks Cyril to calm down and help him in building a flying ship that will take them to the Enchant Sphere. Meanwhile, Nicky and Eddie land in the Enchant Sphere and get surprised to see the same sky they witnessed in the human world. The comet is here too. Nicky wants to go back, but Eddie reminds him this is a golden chance to fulfill their dreams. Nicky can become a dragon slayer, and Eddie will be a famous sorcerer. Nicky remembers about the crystal lake his father was planning to go to. It must be the place to find the fire flower. Eddie thinks the same and helps the boy in finding the lake. Syringa is witnessing everything from her cave, and she wonders why Alder sent a little boy for such a big task of finding the fire flower. She still doesn't want to take any risk and asks her monster slave, Goon, to capture and bring Nicky here. Before Goon reaches them, Nicky gets attacked by a girl and her squirrel. They keep teasing them and asking for food. Nicky gets angry and refuses to cooperate. The squirrel jumps on Nicky and keeps tickling and biting him. Nicky finally gives up and reveals that he doesn't have any food. Hearing this, the girl and the squirrel walk away. Eddie suddenly gets an idea and shares it with Nicky. The girl seems like a sorcerer and must be living in the enchant sphere for a long time. She can help them in getting to the crystal lake. Nicky agrees and rushes to the girl to ask about the lake. In exchange, he promises to give her a lot of delicious food. The girl agrees to the deal and introduces herself as Rocky. Meanwhile on Earth, Alder builds the ship frame and asks Cyril to return to the farm and bring more wood and iron. They want to rescue Nicky as soon as possible as they have no idea about his safety. Little do they know, Nicky is busy trying to become a hero. To speed up their journey towards the crystal lake, Rocky calls the giant snails. Despite being snails, they are quite fast at running and give Nicky a tour of the bubble leaves. Afterward, he gets on the dragonflies and gets a top view of the enchant sphere. Rocky makes him jump down, but they don't get hurt because of the soft mushrooms. Nicky never had this much fun in his life and wishes he could share this experience with his family. Hearing the word family, Rocky gets emotional because she has been living alone since her mother disappeared. Nicky admires her bravery and calls her a cool girl because of her lifestyle. Suddenly, the ground starts to shake and Goon jumps out of it. Nicky runs to hide while Rocky climbs on Goon to defeat him. Goon gets angry and grabs Rocky to kill her. Luckily, Eddie uses his magic spell to throw Goon down the cliff while Rocky saves herself by hanging on a giant dandelion. Goon goes back to Syringa and tells her about the crystal. Syringa has no more expectations from Goon and summons evil spirits for help. Syringa orders them to go after Nicky and tortures him with the saddest thoughts. The night sets in, but Nicky can't find Rocky since she flew away with the dandelion. He starts feeling lonely and misses his family. Suddenly, the evil spirits arrive and take the shape of Nicky's family members. They use hateful words to drown Nicky in guilt and make him suffer. The innocent boy assumes that they are his real family members using magic to talk to him. The evil spirits call him a coward who is going to put the whole world in danger because of his stupidity. On the other hand, an evil spirit teases Eddie by taking the shape of Alder. It keeps calling him a disgrace and asks Eddie to forget about becoming a true sorcerer. Both Nicky and Eddie fall into depression, but then Cyril's spirit says that there's no use of heart without strength. Nicky realizes that the spirits aren't real because his dad will never say something like this. Nicky tries to hit the spirits with a stick, but they can't be touched. He gets an idea and asks Eddie to use a light spell. The evil spirits are scared of the light, so they escape by flying into the lake. Rocky was sitting near the lake and noticed the evil spirits. She looks into the water and notices Syringa's shadow, who is trying to communicate with the spirits. Rocky gets a strange feeling and believes that she has met Syringa before. There's an unnamed connection between them. Syringa decides to play with Rocky's feelings to catch Nicky. She pretends to be a fairy and offers to grant any wish. Rocky immediately asks for a family, but in exchange, she has to bring Nicky to the witch. Rocky realizes that Syringa only wants to harm them, so she refuses to cooperate. Syringa gets really angry and decides to make a new and more effective plan. She asks Goon to secretly follow Nicky and wait for the next order. Rocky unites with Nicky and asks him to fulfill his promise of bringing delicious food as she has guided them to the crystal lake. However, Nicky will only complete the deal when Rocky will take him to the house on the other side of the lake. Rocky agrees and uses her magic to align the lotus leaves. The kids jump on the leaves to reach the other side, but Goon drowns himself because of his heavy body. The house seemed to be locked by a powerful spell, but as soon as Rocky touches it, the door unlocks by itself. The kids get inside the house, which seems to be owned by a female sorcerer. Nicky starts looking for the parchment that will guide him in finding the fire flower, while Rocky keeps staring at the house and feels like she has visited it before. She notices a light source and climbs up to the upper floor. There, she finds a small room with a crib and toys. The sorceress must be living here with her baby. While picking up the crib, Rocky finds the parchment they were looking for. It's written in an ancient language which Nicky or Eddie can't read. They hand over the parchment to Rocky, but as soon as she touches it, she starts reading the message. It's a riddle that points towards a bird looking at its twin. This reminds Nicky of the bird statue on top of the pool. They all rush to the pool and put the missing part of the statue. The water spills out and magically takes the kids to a mysterious cave. Eddie starts to panic because he thinks that they have been trapped forever. Due to the weird atmosphere of the cave, the magic spells don't work here. The kids start toward the light, but the tunnel is full of sound-sensitive bombs. Nicky and Rocky stay as quiet as possible, but Eddie can't hold back and sneezes loudly. The bombs start to blast, but the kids successfully escape the tunnel. Unfortunately, the cave doesn't end here. The kids keep walking towards the light, but they end up near the mountain. Eddie flies to the top and drops down the tree roots so the kids can use them as a ladder. They start exploring the surroundings and find a talking stone that turns into a giant monster. The kids hide away and start planning a new strategy. Rocky wants them to stay together, but Nicky is willing to sacrifice himself. He jumps in front of the rock monster to distract him so others can run away. The monster grabs Nicky and admires his bravery. Luckily, he doesn't mean to harm anybody. He's just the guardian of the cave. After putting down Nicky, the stone monster asks them why they are looking for the magical fire flower. Nicky tells him the whole story of the dragon and its plan to rule over the world. They need the fire flower to stop the dragon. The stone monster admires the kids' noble intentions, but he doesn't know where the fire flower will bloom. However, his friends can help. Saying this, the stone introduces Nicky to a firefly that will lead them to the fire flower. He also opens a portal that takes them back to the forest. As soon as Syringa makes sure that Nicky can find the flower, she orders Goon to capture Rocky. He uses a sleeping spell on the girl and takes her back to the dragon cave. If Nicky wants his friend back, he needs to bring the fire flower to Syringa. After Goon leaves, Nicky starts blaming himself for everything. He shouldn't have followed his father in the first place. Eddie agrees and says Alder was right. A bat is not worthy of becoming a true sorcerer. If the witch gets the flower, everything will be over, but they also can't risk Rocky's life. They must plan everything cleverly, but before that, they need to find the fire flower. Meanwhile, Goon takes Rocky to Syringa, but the little girl feels a connection again. As soon as she touches the witch, Rocky gets a vision of the past. Syringa is her mother who brought her up in the sorceress's house near the Crystal Lake. However, right now her body is possessed with the dragon spirit and she can't recognize her own daughter. Back on Earth, Alder and Cyril have finally completed the flying ship, and they enter the magical world of the Enchant Sphere. It's getting darker, but Nicky is still following the fireflies. They end up right under the comet where the fire flower is growing. The light of the comet shines on the flower bud, and it blooms with a cold flame. As soon as Nicky picks up the flower, the comet disappears, and the shield on the dragon cave is removed as well. Syringa steps out of the cave and waits for Nicky. He has made a new plan, and Eddie is going to be a core part of it. They need to be careful as they have only one chance. Nicky pretends to surrender and presents the fire flower to Syringa. As soon as she lets Rocky go, Nicky tells Eddie to use his boom spell on Syringa. However, Rocky gets in the way as she can't let her mother's body get harmed. The spell hits Goon, and he turns into a stone statue while Syringa takes away the fire flower. She uses its power to bring back the dragon skin, and finally the dragon spirit leaves Syringa's body. Rocky is happy to finally unite with her mother, but the dragon is free to destroy everything. He wants to start by killing Nicky and Rocky, but Alder attacks him from the flying ship. Cyril also grabs his weapons to fight, but the dragon is now stronger than before. Nicky remembers something and asks Rocky to help him. They get on the flying ship and annoy the dragon. It starts following the kids, but Nicky takes sharp turns to exhaust the dragon. Then he slows down the ship so the dragon's fire breath can light up the gunpowder barrels. Once that's done, Nicky asks the squirrels to throw the barrels. They hit the dragon on the chest and weaken the stitch Cyril made on the dragon skin. Nicky keeps distracting the dragon and waits for the stitch to get loose. Suddenly, he turns back to the dragon and asks him to give his best fire blow. The dragon blows with all his might, but instead of his mouth, the flames come out of the broken stitch. The dragon starts burning in his own fire and blasts into ashes. Nicky lands the ship and apologizes to his family for his risky decisions. However, the family members forgive him easily because he is no longer a regular boy. He's a dragon slayer who proved that you don't need muscles or unbeatable strength to become a hero. You only need a strong will and a clever mind. Eddie also gets admired by his master and officially becomes a sorcerer. The humans get on the ship and fly back to Earth, but Nicky promises to keep visiting the Enchant Sphere because he left a friend here.